So, guys, we have another great guest joining us on the show today. We have Adrian Martinez. Thanks for joining us, Adrian.
You're welcome. Thank you.
A good question to always start off with is, how did you get into the industry as it was? Did you have an interest in acting, or did you sort of just fall into it?
Well, I just, when I was a kid, I used to stay up late watching the Oscars, and I just remembered really connecting with a lot of the performances and thinking to myself, what choices would I make had I been Daniel Day-Lewis in My Left Foot, or why would the choice be this or that? And I just realized, I should just do it myself instead of just questioning other actors. And I always felt a passion for the movies. It was always a place for me to go when times were good or bad. And I enjoyed the idea of seeing a whole world on the big screen and losing myself in it.
Okay. Sort of like some of your earlier roles, did you sort of get a lot of experience from them, or did because you sort of done a few TV roles and then you sort of landed The Sopranos. Did you sort of learn from anyone in particular? Did anyone give you any good advice on set?
Well, actually, I just feel the best experience is the best teacher is experience. Whether it's one day on a set or 2 months on a movie, it's interesting. You work with people and they each bring their own history and from which you can learn. In particular, I remember working with Jim Sheridan in America, and I just remember how personal that story was to him, and the level of commitment he had towards his script, co-written by his daughter, and how invested he was on telling that story. That kind of stayed with me. It's just how far are you willing to risk to tell your story.
Okay, excellent. Steve?
Hi, Adrian, and thanks for coming on the show. It's a great pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Obviously, you were just recently in the film Focus with Will Smith. I was wondering if you could tell the UK listeners all about the film, if you could.
Focus is it's sort of like Ocean's 11, but with a love story between Will Smith and Margot Robbie. And I play a con man in the movie, one of a few that go around the world doing these big heists. It's a difficult movie to discuss because you can't really say too much about the plot without betraying the whole setup. But it was a wonderful experience to work with Mr. Smith and Ms. Robbie. From Mr. Smith, I felt I learned all about gratitude. This is a man who's been a huge star for decades now. And he really had, on set and off set, an enthusiasm and a willingness to just completely invest in the role and in his daily life with such joie de vivre. Just an extraordinary man, really. Wherever we went, he was just, happy to be with his fans and doing selfies and doing all kinds of publicity work, but also doing simple things like helping extras and helping people all over the place. And he was really an example of how to just appreciate what you have and keep going. And of course, Margot Robbie is just, what can I say? She's just breathtaking in every way.
Excellent. I've read online you have a nickname of Sidekick to the Stars. How did that come about?
I have no idea. People kept calling me the Sidekick to the Stars because I did a series of films with Walter Mitty, with Ben Stiller, and Casa de mi Padre with Will Ferrell, and I guess someone just coined the phrase, and I thanked him or her, whoever that is. But, I don't mind it at all. I just feel like every time you work with a great star, it's an example of just basically just going to a free film class because each star has a certain way of working and informing the work, and for me, it's just a great teacher.
That's fantastic. I mean, obviously, you mentioned that sort of focus was a bit like Ocean's 11. Are you a fan of the kind of heist and con films? Because you also appeared in American Hustle.
Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed those movies. Going back to The Sting, of course, with the great Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
Yeah.
And of course, the great Robert Shaw character. And these are movies that challenge an audience when they're done right, that offer complexities that you don't normally see in film, particularly today with all the big behemoth, explosive movies. But this was a script that I read, and I thought for sure I knew where it was going, and then as it turns out, I had no idea. And it was a real opportunity to do something that you just don't normally see in film.
Yeah, I mean, you've got quite a few projects coming out. Is there a particular one that the UK moviegoers should keep an eye out for?
Well, I think we have in Sisters with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler an opportunity to see stars that are really in the prime of their careers. These two ladies, as we saw on the Golden Globes, are just hysterically funny and have incredible chemistry. And to be able to work with them on Sisters was a wonderful opportunity. But I think we're really witnessing history here. I mean, it's very rare to find a comedic pair as talented as they are, as smart as they are, who also write their own material. It just doesn't come along often. So I think we will see in time that they're probably one of the great comedic pairs to come along.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely check that out. And that was Sisters.
Yeah.
That's coming out Christmas. And as Tina Fey would say, we're going to destroy Star Wars.
Adrian, you've been in a lot of comic book related projects, including most recently the TV show Gotham, which I know Steve's a big fan of. Are you a fan of comic books?
Yeah, I enjoyed them. I remember working on Kick-Ass in London and having a good time on that, and working also on Gotham. I mean, this is, as an actor, you just have to make a decision to mix things up to keep it fresh for yourself. So you do sort of escapist, genre movies. You do things that are a bit more complex, like Focuses, and then you do your passion projects where you open your heart and soul and body and hopefully it'll resonate with an audience. And I'm working on all three of those things. In particular, I'm working on a project now that Time Warner will soon announce, and it's about a character who's sort of like a self-loathing type, trying to find his place in the world in a very PC atmosphere, particularly in the States where race and identity are the topic of the day every day. Even now, Ted Cruz is being brought into question for running for president when in fact he was born in Canada, and technically it's against the law to do so unless you were native born. And that's raising all sorts of controversy. So I think it's an interesting time in America's history and in the history of the world, really, where race and identity seem to be a constant source of debate and discussion and venom and whatever. So to take a look at that from a satirical, comedic point of view is my objective with this project.
So is that a personal project? Are you getting behind the camera again for that one, or?
Yes, I'm co-writing it, and my friend Hugo Perez will be directing it. We met years ago at a conference and sort of decided to just work together on a project that would address these issues, and I'll be starring in it. It's really, the timing is right for it, and I'm really excited about it, but for legal reasons, I can't get into it anymore. But The timing is definitely right for it.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll keep an eye out, definitely, and sort of like wait till news actually officially drops on that.
Yeah, the Time Warner will have an announcement soon, and it's projected for release in October. So it's a good time. How's the weather in London?
Not very great.
Yeah.
For the usual.
Thanks for joining us, Adrian.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I know we had some stops and starts, but I'm glad we got it done.
Yeah. Okay, well, as I said, the Focus is out now in the UK, and we'll make sure everyone goes and sees it.
Thank you. The character Farhad is kind of... he's not someone you meet every day, so I hope people respond to it in kind as a unique experience.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much.